What's up, guys? We are back with Week 2 NFL Sunday action. Let's dive in and break down all these games and see what adjustments we want to make after going 4-1 last week. Quick recap for all the recap lovers out there. We hit the Steelers plus 3.5 last week. We had the Bengals minus 7.5. That was a tough loss. Joe Burrow really struggled in that game. We had Seattle minus 5.5. They came through for us as well. We had Washington against Tampa Bay. We had the over in that game, and that was an easy win. We also had the Lions minus 4.5 there on Sunday Night Football. They made us sweat it out, but came through with the touchdown in overtime and a dominant running performance. So we'll definitely take that. 4-1 on the week. Absolutely no problem there for me. If you want to win all of your bets this weekend, hit that like button. It's good luck and shows support for the channel and all the hard work we're putting in every single day. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on our daily content. You can now sign up for a channel membership. All channel members get early access to our NFL and NCAA content, and they get a big shout out from me right now with all their names up here on the screen. Really appreciate all you guys. Here's to another big winning week. Our videos are sponsored by StumpTheSpread.com. We have a team of experienced cappers over there for every major sport, currently covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. This is one of the best times of the year to be in the mix with so many sports going on. Click the link in the description if you're interested in signing up, and also to join our free email list, get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox, and to track our new $100 to $10,000 challenge, which is going on right now. Comment below with any bets you're looking at today, and we'll give you our best advice on all of them. We're committed to responding to every single comment every day, so let us know anything you want to say about my picks, these videos, or anything you see here. As always, our favorite picks will be in the pinned comment down below. Now let's get into our first game of the day. New Orleans going to Dallas. The Saints come into this game fresh off of a easy win there in week 1 over Carolina. They won 47-10. Derek Carr looked very good, although they didn't really trust him. I mean, he passed the ball 23 times for 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was only sacked once, didn't turn the ball over. That's definitely a big deal for this team. Kamara looked good in the running game and caught a couple passes. He's not looking as dynamic as he did in both phases of the game like he did back in the day, but yeah, definitely still a solid offensive option there. Olave did not get anything going, which definitely had to kill some fantasy games there for some people, but generally speaking, a very good day for the Saints offense. Their defense also looked elite, which is supposed to be the strength of this team, but going up against Bryce Young, who looked terrible out there, and the Panthers running game looked really bad as well. So yeah, not necessarily expecting miracles from this offense maybe here in week 2, but we'll see what we get. They've looked like a solid unit at least through 1 week. In terms of their opponent in this game, going up against the Cowboys, Dallas looked very good in week 1, dominating the Browns. Dak Prescott didn't get asked to do too much. I mean, 19 of 32 for 179 yards and a touchdown. Not exactly amazing. He did get sacked 3 times, which is a bit of a concern here going up against the Saints, but we'll see what happens. Ezekiel Elliott did fine in a very limited action. 10 carries, 40 yards, a touchdown. Nothing crazy to report for the wide receiving core either. The real impressive part of this game was that Dallas defense, which seems ready for another huge season. They pressured Deshaun Watson, who looked terrible out there, albeit, but they pressured Watson constantly. 6 sacks, 2 interceptions in the game. Yeah, very good stuff from this Cowboys defense. So looking at this matchup, guys, we've got the Saints going on the road here to play against Dallas. I'm going to be looking at the over-under for this game since we already have a premium pick up on the side on this one over at Stump the Spread. But right now, guys, I think the under is looking like some pretty decent value. The under is actually 6-0 in the last 6 Sunday games that the Saints have played as underdogs when playing on the road. So go ahead and give me the under in this one. We'll see if these offenses can really get going. I'm not expecting miracles from Carr. Dak Prescott did not look amazing in week 1, and both of these teams can get after the quarterback, so I think we could potentially see points be at a premium. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers going on the road to take on the Detroit Lions. Tampa Bay was one of the maybe not big surprise, but slight surprise teams of week 1. They came out and got a 37-20 win over the Commanders in that game. The Buccaneers were playing at home, a good place for them to be. We saw Baker Mayfield come out looking great right out of the gate, passing for nearly 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. He only got sacked once. He looked really comfortable out there, albeit against a pretty bad offense, but we'll see what he can do this week. Generally speaking, I'm expecting decent stuff from Baker Mayfield, who has it's been really good to see him find a home there at Tampa Bay. The running game also looked good there for the Buccaneers. I mean, we saw White and Irving both do solid stuff out of the backfield. Neither one of them found the end zone, but generally a very good day for the Buccaneers in the running game. The offense, the passing game looked very good. Mike Evans, Chris Godwin doing their thing out there. This is a very talented wide receiver group, no doubt about that. As long as Baker's getting the ball into these guys' hands well, they are going to make some exciting things happen. On defense, giving up 20 points to the Commanders might not be the best look. They had a lot of trouble against the running game, which does not necessarily speak well for the, how they're going to look up there in the front four and stuff like that on defense. But yeah, generally, they gave up a lot to Jaden Daniels. I don't think we're going to see a lot of running coming from Goff. So maybe that will take care of itself here. We'll have to see. In terms of their opponent in this game, guys, we're looking at the Detroit Lions, who played probably the most exciting game of the week, I would say. At least it's got to be way up there. Goff looked a little bit, maybe not quite ready to go for the season. I mean, he got picked off once. He passed it for a touchdown, though. He got sacked a couple of times, but just didn't seem 100% at home, which some credit for that has to go to the Rams defense for sure. But we saw the Detroit running game look dominant, especially there in overtime, guys. It was crazy. They just ran it down their throat every single, possession, every single snap. It was a running play pretty much up the middle, and they were killing it. We saw Montgomery and Gibbs both look fantastic in the running game, totaling, 131 yards of offense and 2 touchdowns. So great stuff there. We did see Amon-Ra St. Brown have an extremely quiet first day with Jameson Williams going nuts. So we'll probably see Amon-Ra St. Brown get the ball early and often in this one, but you never know. We'll see what they do. The Lions defense also looked very, very good, especially in the first half there. Definitely some problems maybe in the second half, but they were able to pressure Stafford. They were able to slow down the run, so definitely good stuff there. They're gonna be taking on a team that had one of the best offensive days in the NFL. So we'll see what they can do. Looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Lions at -7.5. We've got an over/under of 51.5. We're gonna be looking at the over/under again in this game, guys, as we've got a premium pick on this one as well. But don't worry, we're gonna get into lots of very good value later in the video, and I also think these over/under plays are very solid. The under is 4-0 in the last 4 Week 2 road games played by Tampa Bay, and the under is 4-0 in the last 4 games the Lions played after playing in an overtime game. So you guys guessed it, we are going with under 51.5. I think this is very, very solid value. It's got a great chance to end up there in the pinned comment. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Indianapolis Colts going on the road to take on the Green Bay Packers. The Colts come into this game fresh off of a very tough, very close 29-27 loss there to the Texans in Week 1. Yeah, we saw some really bad stuff and some great, borderline incredible stuff from Anthony Richardson there. I mean, he only completed 9 passes out of 19, but yeah, not even getting that much action, and he threw an absolute crazy bomb off his back that I'm sure you've all seen the replay. That was a wild, incredible pass. So 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 200 yards passing. Not a disaster. We also saw the Colts running game look very, very good. I mean, Richardson put up some running of his own, and Jonathan Taylor had some solid runs. Definitely an area where I would hope to see the Colts improve throughout the season. The passing game obviously looked very good. Alec Pierce catching that long ball, and yeah, this is going to be a pretty good offensive team, I think, if Anthony Richardson can keep on doing his thing out there. Maybe that's a little bit of a big question, but we'll have to see. The Colts defense did struggle somewhat. I mean, going up against the Texans, that defenses are going to struggle quite a bit. They had a hard time against the running game, which is a tough look. Mixon really gave them a lot of trouble, and when he needed to, CJ Stroud got the job done. So worried a little bit about the Colts defense. They did come up with 4 sacks in the game, though, and they while they didn't force a turnover, still not the worst performance going against an elite opponent. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the Packers, who had a very eventful, kind of depressing game there against the Eagles. They ended up losing 34-29 in Sao Paulo. Some blame for the Jordan Love injury has to go on the field and this whole weird situation playing there, but yeah, Jordan Love not going to be out there for this game. We're going to see Malik Willis. I would be shocked to see Love out there. I guess they haven't ruled him out officially. We're recording this on Saturday afternoon, but I'd be pretty surprised to see the dude out there. You don't want to mess around with knee injuries, so we're not going to see him. It's going to be a backup quarterback situation, and that's going to make me think they're going to focus a lot more on the run. And Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson both looked good in the running game there in Week 1, so I'm expecting them to be committed to the running game in this one. Guys, the Packers wide receiver group looked fantastic there in Week 1. It could be a lot different here with a backup quarterback under center, but still excited about that. Excited about this team, generally speaking, on the offensive side of the ball at least. On defense, though, they didn't get off to the best start, obviously having a really hard time against the run. They did have 2 interceptions of Jalen Hurts, so we'll take that. They generated 3 total turnovers. So, yeah, expecting good things from the Packers defense, generally speaking, this season, although giving up 34 points, maybe not the best look. Looking at the matchup for this game, guys, run blocking should be crazy for the Packers. Again here, Love is probably out, like we were saying, and public money is going to come in on the Colts. It has been all weekend. Could be good to wait for the 3.5 on this one, but I think we're going to have to settle for the 3. Packers are going to be desperate at home and should be able to run the ball. Like I said, public on the Colts, sharp money is going to be on the Packers, and that's where we're going to be, guys. Backups in their first start as an underdog are 57% against the spread, so that makes us feel a little bit better, and the Colts secondary is very banged up and did not really have a good week 1. So yeah, I think there's lots of value here on the Packers at +3. If you wait until Sunday, you might be able to get +3.5, but it also might go down to 2.5. So I would say go ahead and jump on this 3 and then maybe even add on a unit or 2 more if it goes up to that 3.5. But yeah, Packers +3, definitely going in the pinned comment. Next up, guys, we're looking at the New York Jets going on the road to take on the Tennessee Titans. The Titans are +3.5 in this game. We've got an over-under of 41. Guys, the Jets did not have a very good time in week 1. They got destroyed by the 49ers, losing 19-32. Aaron Rodgers had some good moments out there for sure. He did get picked off once, but he seemed like he is definitely still capable of making all the throws that they're going to need him to make. Was not a big fan of how the game was coached, so we're a little bit worried about Salah out there. But yeah, generally speaking, not the hottest start to the season for the Jets offense. They are a team that's going to be capable of running the ball, capable of moving it through the air, just not capable of a whole lot there against the 49ers. Their defense did not have a great time. They did okay against the pass, but they could not stop the run, which is obviously not a great look. But yeah, the 49ers are a really tough opponent. That's a hard way to start off your season. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the Titans, who come into this game fresh off of a week 1 loss to the Bears. The Titans probably should have won that game, guys. They were shooting themselves in the foot. Levis getting picked off twice, sacked 3 times, only passing for 127 yards. Not the best look. The running game was actually pretty good, which could be a concern here for the Jets, as you know the Titans running game is poised to have a good day against that terrible Jets run defense, but we'll see. It was week 1. Weird things can happen in week 1. The passing game obviously did not look very good. Levis leaves me with a ton of question marks though, so yeah, very concerned about the Titans offense except for that running game coming into this one. In terms of their defense, they had 2 sacks and only forced 1 turnover. Yeah, I mean, they made Caleb Williams look uncomfortable, but it seemed like he was pretty much going to look uncomfortable out there regardless. They held down the run pretty well, but not amazing, so not super high on this Titans offense, but we'll see what they can do out there. Guys, looking at this matchup, the Jets defense doesn't look good, and the offense still needs an identity. Obviously, things can change a lot after, playing in week 1 against probably the best team in the NFC. Whoever was calling the offensive plays for the Jets did not seem like they did a great job. They were facing tons and tons of 3rd and 8 and more than that situation, so I think they'll do a lot to try and address that. Will Levis does not look good out there for the Titans, though. This is a huge bounce back spot for Rodgers and the Jets. Rodgers is 63% against the spread after a loss. A bounce back game for Rodgers in weeks 2 and 3. He's 6-1-1 against the spread. Titans did not allow an offensive touchdown, and the Jets defense was not good in week 1. Teams that open at +4 or higher at home in weeks 1 and 2 are 40-28 against the spread. Teams that blow 10+ point leads in week 1 are 28-17-1 against the spread in week 2. So that would kind of back up the Titans here, but guys, I'm not siding with the Titans. It might be a little bit chalky, but I think we're going to see a big bounce back here from what I expect to be a relatively solid Jets team. I think they're going to get a comfortable win and cover, winning this game by easily more than 3.5 points. I probably wouldn't wait around on this one. I would guess that the public is going to come in even heavier on the Jets and make this even a bigger number, even though there are a lot of Titans believers out there. So regardless, go ahead and give me the Jets in this one. And if you're begging me for an over-under play, I would say maybe go with the over, but I'm not too interested in that. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the San Francisco 49ers going on the road to take on the Minnesota Vikings. We see the Vikings are getting 4.5 or 5.5 points now, something like that. We've got an over-under of 46.5. Guys, the 49ers got off to a pretty good start to their season. Brock Purdy looked decent out there. Maybe not elite, but definitely decent. Obviously, missing McCaffrey could have been a huge deal, but it looks like Jordan Mason is more than capable and more than ready to step into that void. 28 carries, 147 yards, and a touchdown. That will definitely work. I'm expecting to see Ayuk look a little bit better here. He missed some very catchable balls. And regardless, guys, this team didn't play their best game. Still won 32-19. The defense looked very good. So, yeah, expecting great stuff from the 49ers over the course of the season. They are clearly, once again, ready to be one of the best teams in the NFL. In terms of their opponent in this game, we've got the Vikings, who wanted to make a case as being one of the best teams in the NFL last week. They got off to a great start, winning 28-6. It was against the Giants, so let's not freak out too much. But Sam Darnold looked really good in the first half. He did get picked off once in the game, so I'm not going to freak out. 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, sacked once. I don't think we're seeing some sort of, Sam Darnold emerging as like a great quarterback in the NFL. That seems like a bit of a big ask. We did see very good stuff from Aaron Jones, though. I was impressed there. 14 carries, 94 yards, and a touchdown in the win. Very good stuff there. Justin Jefferson did catch a touchdown pass, but only 59 yards. Probably has fantasy managers a little bit worried, but generally speaking, have to be pumped with what we saw from their defense, although Daniel Jones looked lost out there, so we'll see how that goes on, see how good or bad this performance looks. But yeah, 2 interceptions, 5 sacks, 6 points allowed is a solid performance for any defense. So looking at this matchup, guys, we're going to be looking at the over-under again. We do have a premium pick. This is one of our top confidence plays over at Stump the Spread, but I'm leaning here pretty hard towards the over, actually. The over is 7-1 in the last 8 games where the 49ers were favorites and coming off of a win, so that's a solid little trend there for the 49ers. And also, guys, the over is 6-1 in the Vikings' last 7 games as underdogs. And with a total of only 46.5, I think we're going to see, I think we'll see some offense here. I don't think it'll be crazy. I am a little bit worried about both teams trying to run the ball, so this probably is not going to end up being one of our pinned comment plays, but I do think it has some value here. I'm just much more interested in the side in this game, guys, and unfortunately that one's going to be behind the paywall at stumpthespread.com. Hey guys, jumping in here with a quick ad break. First of all, this is a great time to sign up at stumpthespread.com. Signing up for a premium membership gets you access to our entire team of cappers covering MLB, NCAA football, UFC, and the NFL. If you just want to test out the service, a great way to do that is by joining our free email list, which will get the occasional free or premium pick straight to your inbox. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and become a channel member for early access to all of our NCAA football and NFL videos. Now guys, back to the games. Next up, guys, we're looking at the Seattle Seahawks going on the road to take on the New England Patriots. The Seahawks come into this game fresh off of a kind of close game, a 26-20 win there over the Broncos. I mean, it seems like Seattle was in control most of the game, but, I'm not going to say they messed around, but Denver was kind of in the mix. We saw a decent but not elite game from Geno Smith. I mean, only 171 yards and a touchdown. He got picked off once and sacked twice. He did run for a touchdown and for 30 yards, so that's not nothing. We did see the running game look very good for Seattle. 103 yards and a touchdown on 20 carries there for Kenneth Walker III, so that's pretty nice. We saw Tyler Lockett have a good day. Metcalf didn't really get a ton of touches, and I think they might want to work on that, but generally speaking, this offense is off to a decent start, albeit against a pretty weak opponent. Definitely have to take that into consideration there. In terms of their defense, they did have 2 interceptions against a rookie quarterback, so that's cool. 2 sacks in the game. They held down the running game pretty effectively. They contained a running quarterback. Not really something they're going to be looking at this week, though, and they did force a fumble. So 3 total turnovers in that game. Definitely nice for what I expect to be one of the better defenses in the National Football League this season. In terms of their opponent in this game, one of the biggest upsets of Week 1 was the Patriots getting that 16-10 win over the hapless-looking Bengals. Jacoby Brissett really did not get asked to do very much at all. He passed for 121 yards and he ran for 32 yards, but Ramondre Stevenson was the workhorse and the main engine that made this team win the game. He put up 120 yards on 25 carries and a touchdown. We saw very, very good stuff from them in the running game, and the defense was good as well. They really limited Joe Burrow. They limited the running game as well. And yeah, just very good stuff. 3 sacks, no interceptions, but they did recover 2 fumbles, so that's pretty nice, and expecting good stuff generally speaking for this Patriots defense this season. But what are we really going to get out of the offense, guys? So looking at this matchup, the Seattle offensive line is not good. Mike McDaniel's defense for Seattle is good now, and it looks like it's going to be elite here down the stretch. The Pats offensive line is worse than Denver's even, and New England is bad. Last week versus Cincinnati, there was more the Bengals losing, really, in my opinion, than the Patriots winning. Stevenson was insane after contact last week, and can we really expect that to happen again this week? And on paper, Seattle is way better than New England, guys, and have real offensive weapons, and New England does not have anything really outside of their running game. Seattle, as an away underdog in 2023, was 4-2-1 against the spread, and in non-division games, Seattle was 5-4-2 against the spread. So those are some fairly encouraging trends, guys, and I'm going to be leaning pretty hard here towards Seattle on the road at -3. I think people are overvaluing New England based on that, week 1 performance, and I think we're going to see Seattle come out and win this game by at least 6 or 7. I think they should get a pretty comfortable win in this one despite playing on the road. Next on the docket, we're looking at the New York Giants going on the road to take on the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are -1.5. We've got an over-under of 43.5 in this game. Guys, week 1 for the Giants was pretty much as bad as it gets. They lost 28-6 at home against the Vikings. Daniel Jones was horrendous in the loss. He got sacked 5 times, got picked off twice, and yeah, things are looking really, really sketchy here. How much longer is he even going to be the starting quarterback for this team if he can't turn things around pretty quick? We saw very little from the running game, although they were getting killed in that one. So I do actually think the Giants are going to be a team that's capable of running the ball here behind Devin Singletary, and Daniel Jones can run it a little bit on his own if he gets the opportunity. So yeah, I'm expecting the Giants running game to be decent here down the stretch. Obviously, the wide receivers did not have a great game with Daniel Jones looking so terrible out there. So we'll see how things work out for this offense, but obviously not a unit that had a very good week one. In terms of their defense, they actually played a pretty good second half. I know they gave up 14 points in the third quarter, but generally speaking, I'm not as low on this defense as some people are. I mean, they generated 2 turnovers in that game. They did give up a decent amount there to the run, but they held Justin Jefferson to only 59 yards receiving. That is no small feat. So we'll see what we get from the Giants here in week 2. Obviously, a team that got off to a terrible start to their season, but are they really going to be that bad? Time will tell. I think it's definitely a possibility, though, that this squad could be really, really weak. Speaking of weak opponents, though, guys, they're taking on the Washington Commanders, who lost 37-20 in week 1 against the Buccaneers. Jaden Daniels maybe did some good things. I mean, he passed for 184 yards on 24 attempts. He got sacked twice. He did run the ball really well. That was really where he looked good, was running the ball. But man, this is not a guy that shies away from hits. And I know it's exciting, and you get all pumped up, and you're a young rookie quarterback out there proving yourself in the NFL. Like, these dudes are big, these dudes are fast. You need to get on the ground and not take these hits, or you are not going to last long. Ask every running quarterback in the history of the NFL, except for kind of Lamar Jackson, who has also had his share of injuries. So we'll see what he can do in this game. Maybe would give him a word of caution, maybe try and get on the ground a little bit more. But generally speaking, the Washington offense did some positive things, albeit against a defense that did not look great. In terms of their defense, the Commanders looked really bad in week 1. They gave up a ton to the pass, gave up nearly 300 yards of passing and 4 touchdowns. They made Baker Mayfield look like a monster out there. They made Goodwin and Evans look unguardable. They also gave up a lot to the run. So yeah, the Commanders defense not looking so hot. So looking at this matchup, guys, the Giants going to the Commanders, I'm going to be looking at the over-under in this one, guys. We've got a very, very small number of 43.5. This almost feels like a gift to me. This is definitely going to be going in the pinned comment. We're taking the over 43.5 for sure. We've got 2 really bad defenses out there. The Commanders offense at least can move the ball. I think there's a chance that the Giants offense can move the ball against the Commanders' terrible defense as well. So give me the over in this one. I think we'll see plenty of points out there. Next on the docket, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Chargers going on the road to take on the Carolina Panthers. The Chargers come into this game fresh off of a 22-10 win in week 1 over the Raiders. We saw Justin Herbert come out and kind of get to ask to throw the ball more than I would have expected, guys. 26 attempts, 17 for 26 for 144 yards and a touchdown while only getting sacked once. That's decent. Not really what we were led to expect here in the new Harbaugh era, though. I mean, we did see J.K. Dobbins have tons of success running the ball in large part thanks to breaking off a 61-yard run. But yeah, I thought we were going to see, 30, 35 running attempts here for the Chargers. I thought that was supposed to be their new identity, and that's not really what we saw. We didn't see anybody have a particularly big day catching the ball. None of the receivers really went nuts for the Chargers. Their defense, though, looked very good, giving up only 10 points. They had 4 sacks in that game. They did give up something to the pass, but they really, really stifled the run there. So yeah, some pretty good stuff from the Chargers defense overall. I mean, generating 3 turnovers and 4 sacks in a game, very little to complain about there. So we'll see what we get from the Chargers here in week 2, going up against a team that maybe had the worst week 1 performance in the Carolina Panthers, who lost 47-10 there in week 1. Bryce Young did not look good out there, getting picked off twice and sacked 4 times. Miles Sanders, really just the running game in general, did not do well, and they couldn't give him too much work there, obviously getting killed the entire game. We saw Thielen lead the team in receiving yards, a guy that we had on our radar as an undervalued wide receiver in most fantasy leagues. But yeah, just a really bad outing there for the Panthers offense, and the defense wasn't much better. They couldn't stop the pass, they couldn't stop the run. Just a team that had overall a terrible, terrible game. So we'll see if they can bounce back in this one, guys, and I would honestly say there's a chance. This is feeling real sketchy, but all the pros, all the big money, all the smart guys that I can find out there have the Panthers and the points as the right side in this game. It feels terrible, feels really bad. It's a pros versus Joe spot for sure. Herbert was not that great in week 1 and got asked to do a little bit more than I expected. The Harbaugh run scheme is fine, and that was good, but it doesn't really lead us to think there's going to be blowouts. In the last 10 games, the Panthers have scored over 20 points only 1 time, so that doesn't make us feel great either. The Chargers averaged 6.5 yards per rush in week 1, and the Panthers gave up 4.9 yards to the rush in week 1, so is that going to be something that can continue here? I think they could be a little bit better. honestly, guys, we're going to be on the Panthers. It does not feel good. Teams that lose by 35 or more and are underdogs of 4 or more the next week are 50, 18, and 2 against the spread over the last 20 years. That's not something we can pass up on here, guys. It does not feel good. Let me repeat, I am not very excited about this. Don't get mad at me if this pick loses, but we are going to be on the Panthers at +6 wherever you can still find it. It seems like there's still some 6s, still some 5.5s out there. Go ahead and give me them at +5.5. We'll take that just to make it fair, but not one of my favorite spots of the day. Rolling right along here, guys, we're looking at the Cleveland Browns going on the road to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars. Cleveland comes into this game fresh off of a 33-17 loss in Week 1 against the Cowboys. Things are not looking great in Cleveland right now. Deshaun Watson, pretty much a nightmare performance, guys. Completed almost just barely more than half his passes. Got picked off twice, sacked 6 times. He looks lost out there. He honestly looks lost. He looks afraid to throw the ball, afraid to hold on to the ball, scared to run the ball. It looks like the protection is absolutely not there for Cleveland. So yeah, really, really rough stuff for Deshaun Watson. And we've got more allegations coming out against him this week. So I am a little bit worried here about what we're going to see from Deshaun Watson and this Browns offense. I mean, they didn't run the ball very well last week. I mean, it wasn't terrible. I kind of take that back. Watson did have almost 40 rushing yards, and we saw Ford do what he could in his limited attempts, but this is not an offense that I'm very excited about, guys. And the defense was supposed to be the strength of this team, and while they got put in constant terrible situations, they didn't look amazing to me either. They had some trouble against the running game, even behind 3,000-year-old Ezekiel Elliott. Dak Prescott only passed for 179 yards, but he really didn't need to be pushing it through the air. So yeah, just not a lot of great things for me to say about Cleveland here coming into Week 2, although this is a team that's definitely capable of bouncing back. We'll see if they can do it out here going up against the Jaguars, who had one of the ugliest losses in the NFL last week, I would have to say. Yeah, they fell apart there in the second half, which you wouldn't think, I mean, they had a fumble that was really, really costly, like Etienne let one really slip out of his hands. Just bad stuff there. But Trevor Lawrence, 1 touchdown, 12 of 21. He got sacked 3 times, so that's not great, but I'm expecting better stuff from him in this game. Once again, he had a great first half and a mediocre second half. I'm also expecting the running game to continue to thrive, guys. 24 rushes for well over 115 yards there for the primary backs in this game. So expecting good stuff from the Jaguars running game. And the defense, while it doesn't look great, they gave up 20 points, was not terrible. They had 3 sacks in that one. Yeah, they limited Tua to a large degree. Nobody's going to really limit Tyreek Hill and Waddle, though. That's a big, big ask. So they're not going to be going up against nearly that kind of talent in this game, that's for sure. In terms of, I don't know. I'm expecting good stuff from this defense, really. I mean, they didn't generate any turnovers. That's a little bit rough, but I think they could have a much better time here going up against Watson as opposed to what was looking like an elite, a pretty elite group there for the Dolphins. Now with Tua down, who knows for how long with that concussion. We'll see what happens to them down the stretch. But right now, guys, in this matchup, I'm going to be leaning towards the over in this game. The over is actually 8-0 in Cleveland's last 8 games against AFC opponents. While I didn't hate what I saw from the Jaguars defense, I wasn't super pumped about what I saw from that Cleveland defense, and I think we're going to see plenty of offense in this game. A total of only 41.5. That is a very, very low number, so go ahead and give me the over in this one, guys. I would say it's got some decent value. Next up, we're looking at the Las Vegas Raiders going on the road to take on the Baltimore Ravens. The Raiders come into this game fresh off of a Week 1 10-22 loss there against the Chargers. We saw Minshew do some good things, some bad things, but kind of what you would expect from him. He got sacked 4 times, so the poor dude was not getting the best protection. But yeah, 257 and a 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Not really lighting the world on fire. The running game didn't look amazing either. Not that they got a chance to run it that much, but they tried to establish the run, and it went okay, but not enough to really carry them to where they wanted to be in this game. The wide receiver group looked okay. Devontae Adams catching less than 60 yards, 5 catches for 59 yards. That dude's got to be absolutely in hell right now. So yeah, not expecting that situation to go well for very long. In terms of their defense, they had a lot of trouble against the run. They did all right against the pass, I'll say, but yeah, they definitely struggled against the running game. So that could be a bit of a tough look here for the Raiders as they're about to go up against one of the best, probably running teams in the NFL. The Baltimore Ravens, who did not have a good time against the Chiefs in Week 1. Has to be very upsetting to lose that game by what looked like a toenail, like almost literally. Yeah, losing 27-20 to the Chiefs, though, not the end of the world. Lamar Jackson was really good out there. He's throwing himself around. I'm hoping he'll take it a little bit more easy against these weaker opponents. But yeah, I mean, 273 yards to the air, a touchdown, only 1 sack, and then running for 122 yards. Just crazy, crazy stuff. He looked lighter out there for sure. The announcers would not shut up about that for some reason, but yeah, he looked lighter. Looks like he's in good shape. We'll see what he can do out here in this one. I'm expecting pretty big things from Lamar Jackson. Derrick Henry didn't get that much opportunity to establish the run, and I think that will change in this game as well. I think we'll see Derrick Henry running the ball a ton and Lamar Jackson running it a considerable amount less. Guys, their defense, they did what they could. Going up against Mahomes is rough. They did have an interception and 2 sacks. They didn't recover any fumbles, so we'll see what they can do. They limited the running game well, that's for sure, and they're not going up against the most talented group there of pass catchers for the Raiders. So we'll see how things go. They're not going up against the most talented quarterback, I should say. Devontae Adams is an amazing wide receiver. But regardless, guys, looking at this matchup, I think this is a big bounce back spot for the Baltimore Ravens. I know it's minus 8.5. That's a lot of points. We've got an over-under at 41.5 in this game, and I think there could be some value on the under. But guys, I'm going with the Ravens in this one. Harbaugh with 10 or more days to prepare is 27-8 straight up and 20-13-2 against the spread. Lamar Jackson didn't practice on Monday. I don't care about that. Antonio Pierce blew the game for the Raiders, so maybe his terrible decision making will help us out here as well. I mean, Minshew played all right, but in the Ravens offensive line didn't look amazing, but I think they're going to be just fine here going up against a team like this pretty weak looking Raiders squad. So give me the Ravens. I think they can win this game by 10 points pretty easily. Moving right along here, guys, we're looking at the Los Angeles Rams going on the road to take on the Arizona Cardinals. This is pretty much a pick'em game, guys. We've got the Cardinals at -1 right now, and we've got an over-under of 47.5. The Rams, they played well against the Lions. They ended up losing that game 26-20 in overtime. Thank you, Lions, for coming through for us there, but the Rams played well. They're actually a team that I have pretty highly projected, pretty highly rated here coming into the season. I mean, Stafford looked good. He did have an interception, but he passed for a touchdown, 317 yards. He got sacked twice, but the offensive line didn't look horrendous. I mean, the running game looked serviceable, but maybe not elite. But going up against that front four of the Lions is really, really rough. So we'll see what they can do here going up against the Cardinals. I'm expecting some pretty good stuff from this Rams offense, despite Puka Nacua being out. That's obviously not ideal, but Cooper Kupp looked insane there in week 1. 14 receptions, 110 yards, and a touchdown. And that's going against a pretty good defense. It's questionable whether that's the case coming into this week. So yeah, expecting good stuff from the Rams offense. In terms of defense, they were good against everything except for the run, so that was not ideal. I mean, they held Goff to 217 yards passing, so that's nice, but they just could not stop the run. So will they be able to contain Kyler Murray and the Cardinals running game? That's the big question in this one for me. So we'll see what we get. The Rams obviously trying to replace Aaron Donald, and that changes your entire defense. So like I said, we'll see what they can do against the Cardinals, who kept themselves in that game against Buffalo. They ended up losing 28-34, but got the cover. If you had the Cardinals at +6.5, which a lot of smart money was on them, you got the win in that one. Kyler Murray only 162 yards passing and a touchdown. He was sacked 4 times. He did run for 57 yards, so that's something, but was not incredibly impressed by him or the Arizona running game in general. I mean, James Conner, 50 yards and a touchdown on 16 running attempts. Like, that's fine. They really did not get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr. That was not what was supposed to go on. I don't have any idea what was going on there. Kyler Murray also making some kind of rude, I don't know what the right word is, kind of just annoyed comments about that situation. So we'll see what happens there. Not super high on this offense, although they are coming off a game where they scored 28 points. The defense is very concerning, though, guys. They gave up 232 passing yards and 130 running yards to the Bills. I don't feel like this game should have been as close as it was, to be honest. I mean, Josh Allen was pretty good out there, and not a lot of resistance coming from that Arizona defense, guys. They only forced 1 fumble and one turnover in that game, and it was off of a sack. How many times are they going to get here to Stafford? We'll see, but not super high on this Cardinals defense. So looking at the numbers for this game, guys, looking at this matchup, the Rams outplayed the Lions in the second half. Stafford was great against the blitz. Arizona started hot but made a lot of mistakes late. Their defense is not good. The Rams defense was solid until the second half and overtime, even against the run. Whoever has the ball last should probably win this game, but we'll see how it goes. The Rams offensive line is a little bit banged up now, but I don't think that's going to be a big problem since Arizona has very little pass rush. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and side with the Rams at -1 or +1 in this game, whatever you get them at. It's basically a pick'em game. Give me the Rams to win this one. I think they're in an excellent spot. You could also maybe interest me in the over, but I think the Rams to win this game is the much better value. Moving into the home stretch here, guys, we're looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers going on the road to take on the Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh got the solid week 1 win. We had them +3.5, so we'll definitely take that. They won 18-10 against the Falcons. Justin Fields ended up under center since Russell was banged up. I guess that calf issue issue is going to be, keeping him out there. I think we're going to have Fields out there again in this one, and I wasn't that impressed with what I saw. I mean, 17 of 23 for 156 yards and 2 sacks in that game. Not amazing. He did run for 57 yards, but it took him 14 attempts. So yeah, not super stoked about what I saw from Fields in this game, although he didn't turn the ball over, and that's the main thing. So that's pretty nice. The running game, Najee Harris actually looked very good in the game. 20 rushes, 70 yards. He broke off a 20-yard rush, so we'll definitely take that from him, especially at his slightly advanced age. In terms of the wide receiver group, Pickens led the way. He looked pretty good out there, but yeah, when you've got Justin Fields throwing the ball, probably the passing game is not going to be your main focus. The defense was where this team looked insane. That being said, I mean, Kirk Cousins looked, very rusty and not really very sure of himself on that, Achilles. So we'll see how that progresses down the stretch here, but pretty high on what I saw from the Steelers defense. They held Cousins to only 155 yards passing, 2 interceptions, 2 sacks in the game. They held down the running game as well. When this defense is healthy, guys, it is pretty elite. I mean, they forced 3 turnovers in that game. The defense is really the reason the Steelers were able to win this one. So pretty high on the Steelers. Kind of in general, just maybe not so much there at the quarterback position here, headed into week 2 to take on the Broncos. They're going to be playing at Mile High, so that's definitely a big advantage for the Broncos, who can't be too pumped, but probably aren't too depressed with what they saw from Bo Nix. He made some good passes, and he did not get the ball out to some open guys, so hopefully he can just keep his eyes downfield a little bit better in this game and clean up those two interceptions that he gave up, but not an amazing day for him. He did have a rushing touchdown, so give him some credit. The running game for the Broncos didn't look amazing, so we're a bit concerned about that, obviously. And the wide receiver group, what are you going to do? It's not a very talented group, and you've got a rookie quarterback throwing the ball to you, so not expecting miracles. The defense was decent though, guys. They did a good job of holding Geno Smith in check. They did give up a lot to the running game, which is a concern here against the Steelers, who are definitely going to want to run the ball. But, generally speaking, the defense could have performed much worse there in week 1. So, yeah, looking at the numbers for this game, we've got the Broncos at +2.5. We've got an over-under all the way down at 36.5. Mike Tomlin, guys, as a road favorite, is only 44% against the spread. It seems like a good spot for Denver and the points here to possibly grab even a straight-up win. The Steelers' defense is very good. That's my biggest concern here. Denver is going to force Fields to throw the ball, and that's not something that Steelers fans or anybody rooting or betting on the Steelers want to see. Bo Nix didn't trust his offensive line last week and needs to try and get the ball downfield more, like I was saying, which is something he can definitely do. And will the Steelers defense be able to travel here and play well at Mile High in the altitude? That seems like kind of a big question mark. It's pretty tough out there, guys, and Bo Nix being able to move around is nice. So Justin Fields as a favorite is not something I want to be involved in. This seems a bit sketchy, guys, but go ahead and give me the Denver Broncos +2.5. Maybe you can get it up to +3 if you wait until Sunday, but I'm going to be on the Broncos and the points in this one. In terms of the over-under here at only 36.5, I honestly think you probably want to go a little bit towards the over, but not too interested in that. Not super interested in this game, really, guys, but go ahead and give me Denver at +2.5. I think they keep this very close. Next up, guys, we are looking at the Cincinnati Bengals going on the road to take on the Kansas City Chiefs. The Bengals come into this game fresh off of one of the biggest upsets of week 1. They lost straight up to the Patriots, losing 10-16. Joe Burrow did not look good out there, really, and I'm sure you guys have all seen all the videos of him flexing his wrist and stretching his wrist and rubbing his wrist and trying to figure out what is going on there, because that thing does not look right to me. So I'm definitely a little bit concerned about that. They're telling us he's healthy. He's saying that his wrist is okay. Like, all the news is that he should be fine, so we'll see if he's actually fine here going up against the Chiefs. 164 yards passing and 3 sacks and no passing touchdowns. Doesn't look amazing, but it's not like he has his, things are not 100% just right with this offense right now. And yeah, the running game didn't look amazing either, although going up against the Patriots, maybe solid defense could make that all a lot tougher, but we'll see what they can do here in week 2 going up against a Chiefs defense that is no joke. In terms of the Bengals defense, they were great against the pass, but the Patriots weren't too interested in passing it. They were handing the ball to Ramondre Stevenson and running the ball, and yeah, the Bengals didn't have a lot of great answers to that. And the Chiefs, while Mahomes is the superstar and all that jazz, they are definitely a team that's willing to run the ball. So we'll see what happens in this game. I'm a little bit worried about the Bengals. They're taking on what looks like, after week 1, probably the best team in the NFL. The Chiefs came out firing. Mahomes looked good, 291 yards passing, 20 of 28, only got sacked twice. Yeah, things look good for the Chiefs. They ran the ball effectively when they wanted to in that game against the Ravens, a very tough tough defense. We saw great things from Rashid Rice. All the memes out there of how did the Chiefs possibly get their hands on Xavier Worthy are very, very funny to me. Love those memes. Wish I could have you guys share memes down in the comments, actually. That would be amazing. But YouTube doesn't really allow that. So anyway, guys, the Chiefs, definitely a team that's looked good here. Their defense looked very susceptible to the run and to running quarterbacks, but obviously that's not what Joe Burrow is. But the Bengals are a team that would love to run the ball, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm a little bit worried about the Bengals in this one. But that being said, this is supposed to be a big spot to be on the Bengals here. A lot of overreaction to the Chiefs' Week 1 win from the public and from the lines makers. Mahomes is a guy you want to take when he's an underdog or a very small favorite. He's only 10-13 against the spread when the line moves 2 or more points towards his team, and 48% against the spread in his career when he's more than a field goal favorite. Joe Burrow is 2-7 against the spread in his first 2 games of the season in his career, so that doesn't make me feel great. And yeah, the risk problems definitely worry me. At 6, it seems like a spot we kind of have to lean towards the Bengals. The public's all over the Chiefs, so you obviously want to be fading the public whenever you have a chance. The Bengals defense not looking as good as they did the last couple of seasons. The wide receiver group is struggling and all the weirdness going on. And Burrow, though, he is 10-2 against the spread in his career as an underdog of more than 4 points. And when he has Jamar Chase, he's 5-0 against the spread as an underdog. Guys, this is a rough spot, but I think we have to side with the Bengals at +6. If we get lucky and we can get it up to +7, that would be ideal, but it seems unlikely that's going to happen at this point. So go ahead and give me the Bengals at +6. I don't have enough faith in this to put it in the pinned comment, but I do think it's got some value here. I think we see them keep this game close, and yeah, you don't want to be backing Mahomes as a big favorite. So yeah, this is a spot to lean towards the Bengals at least a little bit. Last but not least here, guys, we are looking at the Sunday night football matchup between the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. The Bears, guys, they got off to, I guess, a good start to their season, but it didn't really feel that great. They won 24-17 over the Titans, but Caleb Williams looked like a college quarterback out there. All the news on this guy is like he doesn't get rattled, he doesn't make these kind of mistakes that you see college quarterbacks make. Yeah, I watched him scramble backwards, guys, and if you watch college football, you'll see some super athletic quarterbacks scramble backwards. If you watch the NFL, you're not going to see anybody except for new rookie quarterbacks try and scramble backwards, because that does not work. These dudes are big and they are fast. So Caleb Williams, definitely some stuff to work on here in week 2. I mean, he passed for only 93 yards in week 1 against the Titans defense, so that could be a bit of a rough look. The running game was kind of going for the Bears, I guess. I mean, Williams ran for 15 yards of his own, but nobody really went nuts there in the running game for the Bears. So we'll see here moving on what they can actually do in the running game. But yeah, week 1 for this offense did not really fill me with tons of optimism. We saw decent stuff from the wide receiver group when they managed to get the ball into their hands, but yeah, Caleb Williams, a lot of improvement to make here week over week. So we'll see what happens there in terms of their defense. The Bears definitely took advantage of what Will Levis was willing to hand to them, guys. 2 interceptions, 2 sacks allowed. They did get gashed by the running game, which is a bit of a concern coming into this one. 3 total turnovers for Will Levis. That is not going to result in the Titans winning very many games. So yeah, the Bears defense, they looked fine, but we have to take into account who they looked fine against. So we'll see what they look like here going up against the Texans, who got a very sketchy 29-27 win over the Colts in week 1. We saw CJ Stroud do his thing out there, 2 touchdown passes, 234 yards. 24 of 32, not a terrible completion rate. He did get sacked 4 times, which is a bit of a concern, but we're not too worried about this offensive line because of how good the running game looked. Mixon rushed for 159 yards, guys. His longest rush was 13 yards. He was killing it out there. 159 yards and a touchdown on 30 carries. Absolutely elite stuff from Mixon, and just this running game in general was just going nuts. So the Bears, they're going to get tested here. We'll see how they stand up against the running game. The passing game was also good. Nico Collins, 117 yards receiving. We'll definitely take that. Generally speaking, guys, Houston looked very, very good. 0 turnovers for them in this game. So yeah, expecting good stuff from the offense. On the defensive side, a little bit worried. I mean, they didn't have a great time against the run. They didn't have a great time against a mobile quarterback, and the idea is that is what we're going to be getting here from Caleb Williams. So yeah, that could be a bit of a concern. They, didn't have a great time against Jonathan Jonathan Taylor in the running game. They did catch 1 interception, so we'll give them credit there. 1 interception, 2 sacks, but the Texans defense not looking like the main strength of this team. So looking at the numbers here for this game, guys, we've got the Texans at -6.5. We've got an over-under of 45.5. Game 1 for Caleb Williams didn't look great, scrambling backwards, throwing off his back foot, all those kind of college rookie quarterback mistakes. Mixon was amazing. CJ Stroud's a monster. The Bears secondary isn't supposed to be that bad, though. Tons of public money is coming in on the Texans, so taking the Bears and all these points sounds good, but they're playing on the road, so that's a little bit, irritating. Yeah, guys, this is a bit of a tough spot. Caleb Williams in week 1 did not impress me. The Texans as home favorites in 2023 were only 2-3 against the spread. This is a Sunday night football game, so we could always play the under and lean towards that prime time, under, situation. And since we have 2 teams that want to run the ball, that could make some sense. In terms of a side in this one, if you're forcing me, I guess give me the Bears at +6.5 or +7 if we can get it up to +7. I feel like that's kind of a big ask at this point. Yeah, it seems like +6.5 is probably the best we're going to get. So that is a very, very small lean, but I think we're going to go with under 45.5 in this game. Is it going to go in the pinned comment? Probably not. I just don't have enough, faith in these defenses and stuff. So yeah, this is going to be mostly a stay away spot for me. Unfortunately, really sucks to not be in the mix on a big primetime game, but I'm very excited to watch it. That's all the games we have for today, guys. Hit that like button for good luck on all of your bets and subscribe to the channel if you're new. Let me know in the comments any questions you have on today's slate. Thanks for watching. You can click the link in the description to check out stumpthespread.com, and we'll see you guys tomorrow for more sports betting action.